Hello there my Jedi and Sith friends, and welcome back to another breakdown. Oh my goodness, we have so much to discuss in this one my friends. The latest 2 episodes of Maul Shadow Lord just dropped. Episode 3 Whispers in the Unknown, and Episode 4 Pride and Vengeance. As we approach the halfway point of the show next week, Episode 4 ended on a massive cliffhanger. There is no way around it, there is no way to sugarcoat it. The Empire is coming to Janix, something which Lawson has been trying to prevent, but Two Boots, the police droid assistant, went against his wishes. Despite being shut down the first time for trying to do exactly the same thing, he succeeded in contacting the Empire for assistance. However, I wouldn't describe what they're about to receive as help. Lawson's local attempt to deal with Maul and the crime syndicates has now turned into a wider problem. As the promotional material has already shown us, the Inquisitors and Stormtroopers are about to wreak havoc, not only going after Maul, but discovering that there are 2 Jedi survivors, Jedi Padawan Devon Izara and her master, Iko Diodaki. This show is about to get even more intense, and the episode titles for next week already tease this, episodes 5 and 6, Inquisition and Night of the Hunted. But before we get into the meat and potatoes my friends, let me just give you my flash review and first impressions. I thought episodes 3 and 4 were intense and brilliant. I'm thoroughly enjoying the way the series is structured. 2 episodes a week at first seemed very strange, but now I see why they did it. Each week, each batch of 2 is like a mini story arc. And I would say Maul Shadow Lord is paced more like a live-action police drama than a typical season of pretty much any other animated show. And the writing is clever, in that it allows us to really spend time with the characters, not just in terms of how they fit into the story and the plot, but also allowing time for their vulnerabilities and their human side. Take the way Lawson has been presented to us, a police detective with an impossible job, not just because of what he's up against, but because he's also a father, a human being who never has time for his son. And on the surface, you might not see why this detail is very important, but I can see it being a staple of what's being set up, because relationships, especially between a senior and a junior, masters and apprentices, has been a recurring motif. Very similar to what Dave Filoni did in the Ahsoka show. In the case of Lawson and his son, it's very different to the force dynamics between Daki and Devon, or even Maul and Devon. I think people often miss the subtext with this relationship, and it's emotionally devastating for both. Riley craves a relationship with his dad, and that emotional yearning and emptiness is found in various characters in this show, in different ways. Maul is looking for an apprentice, and while he wants to use them as a weapon, there is a human side to that yearning. He's trying to replicate the relationship he had with his brother Savage. As for Devon, she is trying to process the pain of her past, and while in these 2 episodes she still stands against Maul, her future master has already planted the seeds of doubt in her mind. After she escapes the vault, Maul offers her a cup of tea and a conversation. It's a moment which defies Devon's expectations of him. She thought he was just a murderer. And in a way, it's a moment which rhymes with Palpatine's grooming of Anakin, especially in Revenge of the Sith. Maul shows Devon that they're more alike than she knows. Contrary to his reputation from a Jedi's perspective, Maul explains that they were both affected by the same enemy, Darth Sidious, who orchestrated the Clone Wars and destroyed the order that Devon once knew. Upon hearing this, she goes straight for his lightsaber, and one of the reasons I think deep down is he struck a nerve. It might not be apparent just yet, because she is still on her master's side. She helps him fight Maul at the end of episode 4, but this is the beginning of her turn. Suddenly, she's been shown a different way. Maul doesn't need her full allegiance just yet, just the acknowledgement that they're fighting a common enemy. And in the next episode, as we see in the trailers, the common enemy are the Inquisitors. Maul is going to intercede in her fight with Marok. So with Devon, Maul is playing the long game. And something that Maul is exploiting, especially in these 2 most recent episodes, is that she goes straight to vengeance. This is something even her Jedi Master noticed, but based on the way she lashed out after Maul pushed her buttons, it's obvious that there is a deep hunger within Devon, one that is based on anger, seeking revenge over Sidious and what happened during Order 66, but also craving something more, a purpose her Jedi Master is not giving her, and I think it's obvious that is where Maul is going to swoop in. Up until the moment Maul entered her life, Devon believed she didn't have a choice, but now the question in her mind, after the events of these episodes, is this path worth it? Is there a way my abilities, my strengths, can be used in a way that gives me purpose, that I can have my revenge? Is the Jedi path limiting? She's looking around and realizing, you know what? All being a Jedi got me is poverty and constantly being on the run. And this is a crucial difference between Devon and her master. Think of the galaxy from her perspective. Devon is only 14. She was barely a Padawan before everything she knew collapsed. But now that she's come across Maul, the menace she learnt all about once upon a time, and he started to get inside her head, started to pick her brain, started to show her a different way, this is where everything is going to change. With the ideological frustrations she has with her master, that he's very passive, a word that was used even by Maul in these episodes, and their life has been reduced to being on the run and relying on scraps. I know she's reunited with her master for now, but eventually, I think she's gonna crack. We just got a glimpse of the fire within Devon, a fire that is begging to break out. But something else I loved in the new episodes were the lightsaber fights. It's been noted 100 times in several different reviews, but we've come so far from the early days of the Clone Wars, and in Shadow Lord, the addition of the canvas-like textures adds a different dimension, something I never thought would work in a format like this. But it was gorgeous. And if you listen closely, my friends, during the first fight, you can hear parts of Battle of the Heroes, and during the second, you hear a bit of Duel of the Fates. I don't know if you noticed, but they also incorporated some of Maul's iconic scream into the sound font of his lightsaber. Details like this are chef's kiss and the perfect cherry on top. But one of the biggest callbacks in these episodes was to Maul's brother and mother, Savage Opress and Mother Talzin. He blames Darth Sidious for the deaths of both. They're both very important characters in the Clone Wars series. Savage was of course Maul's brother and apprentice, originally chosen and magically enhanced by the Night Sisters to become a Sith assassin. He then became Dooku's apprentice under a scheme by Asajj Ventress before he turned against him. So he returned to Dathomir and was tasked by Talzin to go and find his brother, who was still alive. Savage eventually found Maul in a junkyard, where he'd ended up after his fated duel with Obi-Wan in The Phantom Menace. So then Talzin helped to heal Maul's mental and physical wounds, and Savage became his apprentice, helping them both to conquer the underworld and bring the various crime syndicates together for the Shadow Collective. Ultimately though, Savage is killed by Sidious on Mandalore. As for Mother Talzin, she was killed in the comic Son of Dathomir. Another little reference you might have missed in these episodes is the layout of the offices at the police department, reminiscent of both Preox Morlana in Andor, as well as Atatin in Skeleton Crew. It should also be noted, my friends, that after the tease in the last two episodes, we finally got to see another returning face from the Clone Wars show. The leader of the Pikes, Marg Krim, someone who assumed leadership of the Shadow Collective following Maul's initial disappearance, but he got what was coming to him after Maul used one of his henchmen as a decoy. Maul must really trust Icarus to let him use his lightsaber. One final Easter egg which harkens back to the Clone Wars Season 7 is after Lawson declines Maul's offer that Maul will leave Janix alone so long as Lawson stays out of his way. Maul delivers the exact same line he gave to Gar Saxon on Mandalore, "Die well." And this is when chaos erupts. The Jedi intervene from above, confronting Maul directly. Master Iko Diodaki once again urges Maul to surrender with peace, but Maul counters by challenging the Jedi's restraint, arguing they should embrace their power instead of hiding from Sidious and the Empire. The exchange quickly escalates, and while Jedi Master Iko Diodaki survives another day, I have a feeling he might die in the next couple of episodes. I don't think he's going to last very long. Maul clearly wants him out of the way, so he can indoctrinate and train Devon to be his weapon. And in this way, my friends, did you also notice that Maul asked Devon if she knows about the Inquisitors? Have you ever met a Jedi Hunter? And a really cool bit of trivia is that Maul was Palpatine's inspiration for the Inquisitorius. That's why they have the double blade. So seeing Maul confront them next week is going to be so badass. These were two amazing episodes, my friends. There was so much fantastic philosophical dialogue, ideological differences, and a really cool setup for next week. The Empire is coming to Janix. I will have more to say on these episodes in the coming days, so look out for my other videos. But what did you guys think? Did you enjoy these episodes? Why so? Or why not? And if you enjoyed this video and my breakdown, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Check me out on socials. And may the Force be with you always.